Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back or welcome to another Bangs Audio review. And yes, this is a Bangs Audio review. This is not a political rant, okay? Except I'm just gotta say one thing real quick. The only papers that a child riding a school bus should be concerned about are these kind of papers. Nice job with Starring Night by the kiddo, by the way. That's going up on the wall. Okay, done. Today we have the Shanling ME600 for you. This set was purchased by me with my own money. Highly recommended from Rogue Gorilla, who, again, I hope is still out there. I hope I didn't piss him off to the point where he's just not around anymore. But I guess if he is, I understand. So, anyway, thank you to Rogue for recommending this set, and not just recommending it, but literally just going to, have you bought it yet? Have you bought it yet? Have you bought it yet? And I finally did. It's a $329 US dollar retail. I was able to get this shipped for $226 on AliExpress at the Shanling Official Store, which I will link in the description. Another little kind of cool thing that happened when I got this, and it took like the usual week or so. This was before any tariffs or anything like that happened, so I don't know. Like, I haven't really tried to order from Ali with the stuff that's going on with the postal service and the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that shakes out. Hopefully it won't be too bad. But anyway, I got it in about 7, 8, 9 days. Typical amount of time, reasonable amount of time. But when it showed up, it had this stuck to the side of it. Well, actually, it was like stuck right here. These two like little stickers, cute little stickers, and inside here was a pair of Spinfit CP100 Plus ear tips, medium size, so it could only work in my right ear, which caused me immediately to order the large from Amazon, which I did, which I'll also link. And that's what I used on them. I used, after trying them out with the Divinus Velvet, regular, wide bore, Spinfit W1s, you know, the usual suspects. I landed on the CP100 Plus because the fit was perfect with the medium in the right and the large in the left, and sonically just so sweet. Very, very good stuff. So that little surprise was not listed anywhere in the order or the description or anything like that. So I don't know if they're just doing it to be nice, but I appreciate that. And now I've got a couple of sets of ear tips that I really like to use. The Spinfit CP100 Pluses are like a little bit on the narrow bore side. So, oh yeah, unboxing specs. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking about getting them. I found that for the ME600, they were a fantastic pairing. The box is super nice, super sturdy, high quality. Little ding there, but nothing, nothing terrible. It was packed really well for shipping too, like, double bubbled, double wrapped, and all that kind of stuff. You got this nice little piece of, I want to call it parchment paper, I guess, with sort of a picture of the IEMs, the shells. And then they sat here with their cable attached. The cable was in this compartment right here, which I've just pulled the glue off of, but oh well. And then underneath, you're getting a massive amount of ear tips. 1, 2, 3, 4 full sets plus 2 sets of foams, plus the ear tips that came on the IEMs. So like a ton of ear tips. You got your paperwork in there, your quality control card, a little cleaning brush, and then you also have nozzles as well. So these comes with 3 nozzles. There's a clear gasket, which we'll get into in a minute. Clear gasket, black and red. For my preferences, I ended up with the black gasket nozzles. Those were my favorite. Those are the clears, those are the reds, and we'll go over the graphs because they do have, they're different. The graphs are, especially in the treble, really just in the treble, are affected by these nozzles quite significantly, actually. And then you get your 3.5 millimeter termination, modular cable, 4.4 is on there, of course. You know, very nice, just friction hold on there, but once it's on, it's not going anywhere. The cable itself, it's showing a little tangly, but it's not. I saw no need to cable swap on this at all, so I was able to do the graph, the frequency graph with them, with the included cable, and switch over to my 4.4 preference. Now I'm going to do this for the first time. No, actually I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, they do come off. Okay. I don't really feel like taking them off. I'm afraid. But it looks like they are, they should be, obviously, at this price point. You would imagine they are. The connections, it's removable. I just chose not to. It's very, very solid. It is also very, symmetrical with the design. Like, it looks like it belongs on there. So I'm not cable swapping. I'm just not doing it. Anyway, there we go. Put these guys back in. Call our unbox good. The ear tips, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them. I ended up not using any of them, but I'm sure that you could if you wanted to. It's nice that they include that many. Sometimes you just get a set, like Sim got a set that aren't very good. But, I understand that philosophy too, because, like, if people aren't going to use them, then why put them in there? Yeah, it's personal preference. Anyway, really nice unboxing. On to the specifications for you, and then, well, sorry, here's the case. Let me say something about the case. Not a protective case. This is not waterproof, crush-proof, maybe splash-proof. Dust-proof, yeah, a little dust-proof, but it's not really a protective case. But it is handsome. It is smart. It has this nice little leather strap across the front to keep the lid closed. Plenty of room in there for the IMs and the cable, and maybe a small dongle too, perhaps. But yeah, really nice job with the leather, green and tan leather carrying case. I like it. It's not as functional as some cases, but it is really nice to look at. And when you're looking at plus $300 regular retail price, this kind of case, it's just one of those little details that you appreciate. And I do appreciate it. On the specs, and then we'll do the build. We are looking at a 10mm bio-diaphragm dynamic driver. We are looking at, is it 10 and 8? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, 2 10s. Biodynamic dual dynamic drivers. Actually, I think those are not 10s. I believe they're either 8 or 6, but we'll find out before the end of the video. Triple balanced armature driver. So it's a 2DD 3BA configuration. Impedance is 16 ohms. The frequency response range is from 12 hertz to 40 kilohertz. I'm not gonna, discount that. And sensitivity of 100 decibels. So if you look at the specs, they look at their sort of average sensitivity, but man, they're sensitive. They get loud fast, especially on the 4.4. So very nice unbox. Very nice accessories. Lots and lots of ear tips. Modular cable. Just about everything you could ask for, I think. Now, on the build, these things are built like a tank. I mean, literally, if you threw them hard enough at somebody, you could probably put their eye out. Don't do that. It's a metal shell, all the way around. The faceplate's got this pattern on it that is also, it's like grooves, so you can actually feel it. It's not just a look, it's an actual design. So this must be like CNC aluminum or nickel or something. You can also get them in like silvery gray. I chose the dark gray / black for a little change of pace for what I've been getting lately. And man, they're just nice. The shell size is not huge, but it's not small. And you look at it and you're like, oh, am I going to have a fit issue with that? Listen, I had a little trouble getting them in past my, my lobe kind of area there. Like I had to kind of pull it down a little bit to get it past it. But once they're in, they're super comfortable. Like once they're in, you don't have a worry. They're totally fine. They're not too big. They don't go too deep. The nozzle length is a little bit, I would say a little bit north of average as far as, you know, how long they are, but not tremendously so. You're not going to feel invaded necessarily. And it also lends itself to you sort of being able to use your tips of choice, which is a nice thing, you know? Use the tips that you like to use, and the fit should work just fine. Now, with the build, I have one little nitpick. And it's not even really a build nitpick, it's more of a design nitpick. These gaskets that are on the nozzles do not stay in place. I just moved the black one, putting in on and taking off the ear tip. So be careful. You know, I don't think that they play a huge role insofar as the actual sonics go. But if you lose them, then you're gonna have to like figure out which nozzles are which on your own, because it's really the only way to tell them apart are those gaskets. So it looks like now that I'm fully screwed on, the gasket is more stable. See if it moves again. Yeah, it's moving a little bit when I put the ear tip on. That's a little bit annoying. It's not a deal breaker, you know, certainly not for how freaking amazing these sound, but it's something to be aware of. And here is the, you probably can't even see it, but I'll put it down. There is the clear gasket that came off again from the other nozzle, and I don't know if I'm ever going to put it back on. It's that much of a pain in the ass. So, okay. Criticism is that, and that's really it. That's the only nitpick I've got about this set, is just I wish those gaskets were a little bit more stable. Like I wish they stayed in place. Yeah, see it right there. I just pushed the gasket all the way down. So minor inconvenience, you know. I suppose at some point when I'm fully settled on the nozzles I'm going to leave on them permanently, which I believe are going to be the black gasket ones, I will remove the gaskets, because honestly that's just annoying. Okay, alright, complaining over. That's it. Let's get into sonic impressions and graph now, because this is where the rubber hits the road with this set. I had two different titles for this video that I was toying with. One was a really obscure Star Wars reference from the trash compactor scene where Luke goes, "There's something alive in here," and that's kind of how I felt about, like, is there like some nanobots going on inside of these things? Like how are they producing this kind of sound, and able to sort of change and adapt to different genres so well? Like, is there something alive in there? But then again, I was like, okay, that's a little bit too referencey, or too geeky of a Star Wars reference. So I ended up calling it "Move Over Bacon," and "Move Over Bacon" is a slogan from some bacon alternative from the '80s. So that's even more obscure. But the point is, these are meaty. These are big, bold, meaty sounding IMs, and they're not making any apologies to anybody for anything. That's just the way that they are. And I love them for it. I really do. I love it when a company produces an IM or set of IMs that is unapologetic. This is how we're doing it. Some people are going to love it, some people aren't, but this is how we're doing this set. This is how we're going to tune this set. And that's exactly what Shanling did with the ME600. It's a no apologies set. It's a big bass, especially mid bass. It's a big bass set. It does have somewhat recessed mids when you compare it to the ear gain and the treble. The treble is peaks and valleys. It's got that 8K peak that was bothering me the other day. Didn't bother me on this set. Don't know why. Peak again up at 12K. You can see the three different filters. The colors got all screwed up again. If you want to see the different filter graphs. You can, in the community section, I posted them. Color coordinated, but of course it didn't stick because nothing ever works that easily for me. Clear nozzles, the top line has the greatest ear gain and treble, beginning treble, upper, mids, lower treble. Black is the middle line here, which I found to be, for me, the best balance. And then the red is the bottom, which has the least amount of treble, least amount of ear gain. And people who are more treble sensitive or sensitive to ear gain are probably going to enjoy the red gasket nozzles the best. But there is something in there for everybody as long as you love bass. As long as you love bass in your face, because that's what this set does. Interestingly, the sub bass does roll off, but I didn't find it to be... It didn't reduce the satisfaction factor of the bass on this set because A, it's rolled off in such a way where it sort of fades instead of just disappearing. So there still is a little bit of that rumble. And the other part of it is that the mid bass is so strong, impactful, powerful, thumpy, and just satisfying that I didn't really miss the sub bass that much. Really, if at all. You know, when it comes down to it, probably my favorite set that I've reviewed in the past couple of month or so, let's say in the past month, the new year. My favorite set of the new year is the AFU Performer 5+2. And this is close, and I'll tell you how close. That the P7 has got to go home, and I still have to get to the post office to get it back to my buddy. Sorry, I know you want this back, and I see why. Having the Shanling ME600, following it, and knowing how good it is and how much I've enjoyed it over the past few days, takes a little bit of the sting out of that, sending the P7 home, and also keeps me from feeling like I have to go out and buy it tomorrow, which I shouldn't do anyway because it's another $200 that I don't need to be spending right now. Plus I have other sets that were sent to me that need review. Meyer Audio, for example. Those will be coming up next week. So, this is a soft landing, like just a very soft landing from the P7. It is just immensely gratifying to listen to this set. And here's what it does. Here's what it does better than, I think it probably does it better, almost better. Better, maybe, depending on your preference. It's a set for metal, and it has taken the crown from the Kiwi Ears Quintet, which was my favorite set for metal of all. Just for metal. It has taken that crown. These want to play metal. They just want to. They also want to play hip-hop, R&B, EDM, anything that's got a significant bass emphasis in the music. It just wants it. You can tell it wants it. You can tell it because when you're listening to something else, you're like, man, these really just, they're not quite showing their potential without the bass heavy music. And they handle the treble so well, especially in the case of metal, that they're not fatiguing at all. But I just felt like when I was listening to pop and some lighter rock and some alt rock and things like that, that I was just like, I just want to listen to metal. It might be, my mindset and for the past few days, as if you guys haven't figured that out. But yeah, I wanted to listen to metal, and when I listened to metal, I listened to metal with these, and it was perfect. So if you're a metalhead and you got the ability to spend, $250-ish if you catch them on sale. Hopefully you don't have to pay the full $330, but they're worth it. Yeah, this would be your set. My top recommend for metal, and not far behind for hip hop and rap either, honestly, and EDM too. One of my favorite songs lately that was actually introduced to me by my 6-year-old son Fly Away by TheFatRat. You should definitely, like, if you like EDM, this is a great song. It was like attached to some YouTube video, like a Minecraft, like I think it was called Beatcraft 7 or something like that he was watching. And I was like, what is that song? The song fucking rocks. And that's what it was. It was Fly Away by TheFatRat. So that sounded fantastic. So I'm telling you, EDM, rap, hip hop for sure. Metal, absolutely bangers for metal. Bangers, 100%. Can't believe I couldn't pronounce bangers. Yeah, for everything else, I mean, yeah, they do an adequate, above average job. They're really good at IEM. They're really well tuned, and they've got great drivers. So, yes, they are an all-arounder set, but they have a specific forte, and that is metal, and also hip hop, R&B, rap, and EDM. Just so we're clear on that. If those are your jams, if those genres are what you like, then the ME600 is going to blow you out of the freaking water. I mean, seriously, they're crazy good in that respect. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're the strongest set for vocals, but they weren't bad. I mean, like, Adele still sounded very good, and Melody Gardot sounded very good, and Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, like, it was still good, but you could just tell, like, some of Billie's tunes were very good. The more EDM sort of oriented tunes were freaking amazing on it. But you could tell when it's just sort of a more like vocal oriented track, you're like, I just want to listen to a different song. It wasn't bad. It just like it feels like you're holding them back from what they're really like great at. So keep that in mind. Okay, they're not perfect. They're not going to knock off every other set that I own, out of like the top 5 best of. But they're in the top 5 because I love metal, and these play metal almost perfectly. So yeah, they're going to get a highly recommended from me, and for that reason, please keep that in mind. Metalheads rejoice, man. These things are freaking sick. Rogue was right. Dead on. Perfect. So, with that, I am going to get into the Meyer audio sets now. I think the first one I'm going to do is the less expensive one, the SLA3, because that's their least expensive offering, the Slevo SLA3, which is 1DD 3BA set, which retails for around $100, which is the first one I've seen from them that's that inexpensive. So that's going to be your next review. Probably look for that on Tuesday. I'm sort of getting into the Tuesday, Friday schedule. It just sort of works out with my kid and school and all that kind of stuff, all the stuff going on in life. Tuesdays and Fridays, generally speaking, are the days I'm going to be doing reviews moving forward. So until then, enjoy your weekend. Be careful. Be safe. Be nice. I love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. See you in a few days. Peace.